Hi, Mayor.
Hi there.
Hey, we want to get your levels really quick. So could you just read that sentence there?
Sure. Hi, I'm Austin Mayor Steve Adler, and you're listening to Heavy Friending, Austin's #1 friendship-based podcast. But you don't need to check that.
That was good. Mayor, just one more time for me. Could you say it again? Say it like you really like me
just
and
more
you
excitement.
think I'm great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mayor Steve Adler, and you are listening to Heavy Friending. Hey, it's Austin's #1 friendship-based podcast.
That was like jazz.
That was so good.
This is Heavy Friending. I'm friending you so hard. An alliance slowly forming like a boner in my heart. So if you want to fucking friend me, better give me all you got. No, I don't take this lightly, cause it's heavy. Heavy friending.
There is an eagle flying. Yeah!
Hi, frienders. Welcome to this very special episode of Heavy Friending. I'm Laura Lee Bishop here with my best friend and co-host, Mr. Joe Barlow.
That's right. And here, when we say here, we mean here in spirit because we're hunkered.
Oh, yeah.
We're hunkered.
Oh, I'm hunkering.
I like to say that I'm hunkered.
I'm hunked. I'm hunked down.
Well, and speaking of hunks.
You like me too.
That's right. Here he is. He's the mayor of Austin. I mean, a lot of people are saying Austin's hunk. Steve Adler. Hi, Steve.
Hi, how you doing? Thanks for the invite.
We're great. How are you hunkered down right now?
I am also hunkering.
Would you say hunked down hard?
I wouldn't say that.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
But if the people of Austin wanted to, you wouldn't object.
That is correct. That would be an apt description.
So you and Joe are kind of friends already.
We've done some things before.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Because I want to become your friend as well. So I wrote an acrostic for you to welcome you onto the show of your name. Also, what should we call you? Should we call you Mayor? Or should we call you, or can we call you Steve or Mayor Steve? Or
Steve works.
Okay, so cool.
Mayor
That's perfect.
Works. Any of those things work.
Perfect for my acrostic. So my acrostic is Steve. And it goes like this. Steve, thanks. Enter virtually. And then I couldn't think of anything for the last E. But there you have it. I spent a lot of time on it. So
I like it.
Thank you. It's just a gesture.
I like it.
I feel like you're building a friendship bridge to the mayor, Laura, and he's going to walk all over it. But we did want to ask you, so you're hunkered down, Mr. Mayor, right? What's quarantine life look like for you?
You know, quarantine for me is busy. It's what I miss now is the travel time between meetings. I mean, it used to be that I would be in a meeting and then I would go somewhere to be in another meeting, and you could like collect thoughts in that period of time. You could prepare. You had a chance to think. And now with this Zoom stuff, you have a meeting that ends at 59 minutes after the hour, and the next meeting starts on the hour, and it's hard. I mean, there's just a lot of activity and a lot of meetings and a lot of discussions with a lot of people because what we're going through is just so new. So it's exhausting, and it starts early and goes late.
Well, let's let the Heavy Friending podcast be a breather for you.
That sounds good to me.
You don't have to worry about facts and figures and Zooms and who's who. You just need to know your friends Joe and Laura are here for you.
This will be just kind of like between us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No one listens.
Yeah.
No one's going to listen to the juicy gossip we're going to peel back from you.
You can say anything here.
Got it.
But what are you eating? Like, what's your comfort food?
What are you eating?
You're eating, right?
I am eating. So my birthday was in March, and my three girls were all headed back to help celebrate my birthday. Only one of them made it with the virus that was happening. She came here with her husband and their two babies, my grandchildren, and they've stayed with us. They didn't go back to their home because this was probably a safer place for them to be, and no one was actually having to show up to work. So I have been eating a lot of macaroni and cheese. I mean, I'm getting to eat things that I haven't been able to eat for a long time. I'm eating way too regularly because there are like 5 or 6 meals a day at my house. Way too much vegetables.
Ew.
I know, but it comes with the turf. So it is a different kind of eating than I was used to.
What about pants? Are you wearing pants on a regular basis, or how's it going? Button up shirt and then anything goes.
I do have pants on. Okay. In part because I have like house, but they're not always the pant that is appropriate for.
That's what I like to hear.
The rest I'm wearing.
Okay, see, that's the juicy stuff.
This is juicy
that we're doing. Yeah.
Do any of the pants say juicy on the back side?
No, I don't have any juicy.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's something for the listeners. If you want to get a gift or anything for the mayor, those are very comfortable. By the way, I used to wear them in college.
Because it's to a political figure. I think you would have to write on some tax form. Juicy
it's like a donation. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to take those things.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's great to know. So actually, don't buy those sweatpants.
But I would like a pair. I'm sure Joe would like a pair.
I'm like probably a medium or large in the juicy sweatpant. So we got food, mac and cheese. I love vegetables. Ew.
Gross.
Are you binging anything? Do you have free time to binge? And if you do you have a beverage you drink while binging?
This would be the time to binge watch on Netflix, but there's a strict screen rule in my house right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're not the mayor of these rules? It seems like you should be the mayor.
I am not the mayor of this place at all. I am low down the totem pole. So no, I'm not being able to binge watch anything.
Sounds really shitty at your house, man. You're eating vegetables all day. You can't watch anything.
But I am able to spend this incredible amount of time with Remy, who's just now past 2, and I've probably have spent more time with her over the last 9 weeks. She's been here like 9 weeks now.
Wow.
More time in the 9 weeks than I probably would have spent, in the first, year or two of her life, with her living on the other end of the country. So that part's been great.
So I have a little nephew, and he's about 2, and so the greatest thing I like about hanging out with him is I want to like brainwash him or like insert things into his brain that will stay with him forever. Is there anything you're doing like that with Remy?
I'm trying to introduce Remy to chocolate.
All right.
And to ice cream, and we sometimes smuggle out the screen to watch some turtles. But
Ninja
hopefully
turtles?
her mom's not listening to this podcast.
What kind of turtles? Are these like National Geographic turtles?
Or are they mutants from underneath the sewer?
No, she likes looking at like the nature clips of turtles.
I bet if she saw a mutant teenage turtle, she'd like to look at those too. Just saying.
I think that's because we've walked around the lake, and we have also found turtles there.
So there are activities people can do right now during the quarantine. So what are some things you would encourage people to do now, since they kind of, we're stuck in, but are there things we can do outside?
You can go outside, and it's encouraged to go outside. It's everybody should be trying to go outside and not get into big groups and gatherings of people. But going outside to walk around, to jog, is absolutely something that's encouraged. It's the proximity, it's the physical interaction with other people that are risky.
So you're jogging a lot then?
I should be jogging.
This is not a guilt trip podcast.
Really? And you said this is a safe place.
Yes, very
and
safe.
already it started.
Well, see, it's a good cop, bad cop thing that we do.
That's true.
And yeah, sorry about that.
I'm very nice. Laura is the tough one. She has the hard question.
I have a lot of, and you don't even know what's on this list of questions I have.
Uh-oh.
I don't even know. I'm frightened now.
You should be.
What do you miss most? Because a lot of things are shut down, or maybe they're slightly different. What are you really longing for?
It probably is just being with people the same way. I'm trying to spend some time Zooming with friends and still getting together that way. I appreciate the restaurants that are doing the carry out, so I'm doing that and trying to over tip every time I do that to help. So I'm still getting kind of the foods that I want, but it is just the interaction with people that you miss.
Do you really miss that? Because part of me kind of likes observing the world at a distance from my window. I don't have to, necessarily. I may shower, I may not shower. We don't need to get into whether I showered today.
And he didn't.
Do you actually miss that? Because part of me is like, some of that I don't need every day.
I do. In part because I'm not able to kind of hide the way that you are. So, I started out at 6:00 this morning on KView.
Whoa.
And I can't do that without taking a shower first. I think it would be kind of disturbing for people to turn on the news in the morning and see me as I roll out of bed. I
mean, one thing I've learned is that I don't think people can tell. I think you'd be fine.
Thanks a lot.
Well, it depends on your internet speed. I have a really slow one. So for me, it's so blurry. It's like, it's hard to tell really what's going on.
My hair is getting longer, though, so I really need to wet it down in the morning and comb it.
You thinking about doing growing out like maybe a little ponytail or something? Have you thought about maybe trying to experiment with any new hairstyles?
I am getting really close to being able to put a rubber band on this in the back.
If any mayor should have a ponytail, it should be the mayor of Austin.
It'd be kind of like my pants. I could be on TV wearing the ponytail and no one would know.
No one would know. That's what's great about it. It's a mystery. And it's a mystery only you know, so it's exciting. Ponytails
are the juicy sweatpants of hairstyles.
They are, for sure.
And I've said that for years.
So I have had the opportunity not only to now be on a lot of the local news shows from Diane's office, actually, but also some national MSNBC and CNN and the like. And Diane's father was an artist, and he painted 3 portraits of our 3 girls. And I hang them on the wall, kind of back behind me and up to the left when I do those appearances, and I'm regularly changing out the painting.
Whoa.
So the room stays the same except for the painting.
Interesting.
And now there are like blogs that have started up trying to figure out the meaning of the different painting hanging in the backgrounds.
Interesting.
And so you'd like to give us an exclusive now, and you're going to tell us that you've been secretly conveying a message. And what is that message?
It's like Morse code, really, really, really slowly.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not owning up to any particular messaging.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. Keep it mysterious. Yeah.
Right.
It's going to keep people interested for sure. So you've been on all these different programs. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but would you say that Heavy Friending is one of the most exciting programs you've been on, and one of the ones that you were most looking forward to and most excited about?
Absolutely. I think all those other appearances have just been practice sessions.
Right.
Building up to this moment.
I totally get that. Did you do anything to prepare for this today? You know, you were saying you like to get mentally ready. Was there anything that...
No.
Okay. Just...
Sorry.
Thought I'd ask.
Wow.
Sometimes these things are best if they're spontaneous.
That's true.
That is a podcasting slogan, I think. You should have prepared more is always what we say at the end of a show.
We say that a lot, yeah.
But I did want to talk about, speaking of news, this got huge coverage when it happened. Because I think it was the moment when people in Austin, but also people in other places, really started paying attention to this whole situation with COVID-19 was when South by got canceled. What was happening behind the scenes?
You know, that was really hard. When we made that decision, it was quite the outlier. People really hadn't done that yet. I was talking to mayors around the country, and they weren't quite at the place we were at in terms of having to make that choice. Mayor Suarez in Miami, closest to having a kind of an ACL type event there that he was looking at having to cancel. But it was hard because I knew that if we canceled that event, it was going to be beyond painful for a lot of people. There are a lot of people who earn their year's worth of profit in those 10 to 14 days. I knew a lot of people would lose their jobs. The city would lose $350 million in economic activity. I kept adding it up and trying to come up with a different conclusion because I wanted to not have to shut it down. But the arrows all pointed in the same direction. The advice and counsel coming from Austin Public Health and from the physicians and the scientists all pointed in the same direction. My conversations with mayors around the world and cities where this had already reached all told me the same message. So it was really hard to do. It was a little bit easier. The South by folks basically came and said that they would support whatever the decision was. I just wanted us to make one, and that made it easier. But it was still really, really hard. I'm happy we made that decision.
It was kind of crazy how it happened. I'm a musician, and I was going to play South by actually. And I was it sucked. Actually, what was worse was I had a show in New York right when you guys kind of canceled it. I was there. And so I flew there for a show. The show in New York got canceled as soon as I got there. I took off from Austin really early in the morning. By the time I landed in New York was like ground zero. It like happened so fast. And then, it was just, what was crazy about it was how we transitioned from like, no way, we'll still go out, we'll make it work. And then slowly being worried. And then, that whole, like, it was like grief or something in a way, like the denial and then the anger and then the acceptance and all of those kind of things. And it happened like very quickly in the course of like 48 hours. I went from, we're still playing the shows to, I don't know if we can play the shows to, why can't we play the shows? It was a journey.
Yeah. Well, and I wanted to, I brought that up because I really wanted to give you credit, you and your team who kind of made that decision. Because I do think it was a hard decision. People in Austin definitely had mixed feedback, I think. But I think ultimately now most people would probably say, well, I'm glad we didn't bring all these people in and then send them back to where they came from.
Oh, definitely. You did the right thing, Steve.
Thank you. And when you look at the other cities that didn't quite make the same decision in that same period of time, most of them, I think would now look back and say they made the wrong choice. I'm thinking cities like New Orleans and some other cities. So I appreciate that, and there were a lot of people that didn't like that decision when it was made. I'm kind of used to that kind of thing by now, but I knew that the impact on people was real, and that's what made it hard.
Shake the haters off. You don't even spend a second on it.
You try not to read the comments.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that, because I'm starting to get a little bit like I'm starting to get some haters. How do you deal with it? How do you do it?
You know, when I was running for office the first time, there was a campaign manager I wanted to have help me, but he was retiring, didn't want to do it anymore, and I finally courted him, and we went to lunch, and he said, "Okay, I'll be your campaign manager, but you have to promise me one thing." I said, "Okay, just anything." And he said, "I want you to promise me that you'll never read the comments. You'll never read the comments to articles in the newspaper. You don't read the comments on Facebook. You just won't ever read the comments." I went, "Great, done." Mm-hmm. And he said, no, you actually have to repeat the whole sentence. And I said, "Okay, I promise I'll never read the comments." Then he said, "Okay, I'm your campaign manager." And he said, "Now that I'm your campaign manager, the first thing we're going to talk about is what I want you to think about when you read the comments, because I know you just lied to me." And I said, "Okay." And he said, you have to, when you read the comments, you have to remember that while it looks like there are 20 different people that have commented, I want you to always remember that one person can sign on with 20 different aliases, and while it looks like multiple people, it could just be one person.
See, that's our secret, is we create accounts to spread good information about us.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, they have so many fans.
I actually do know people who do that, who have several accounts, like Facebook accounts, and comment on their own posts.
I shouldn't joke about that then, because I certainly don't have the time or the energy to.
I have the time and the energy. I don't know if I can bring myself to that place.
Well, speaking of haters, and I don't know your relationship, but I'm curious to learn more. But sometimes it seems like you and Governor Greg Abbott have a frenemy relationship, and I'd love to hear how you feel about the governor of Texas.
Well, I'm trying really hard to do everything that I can do to help him be successful in this reopening up of the economy, even though he did it sooner than I would have liked and is moving it more quickly than I would like, and not having the emphasis on the things that we should be doing to help mitigate the physical interactions, like wearing face coverings and the like. He is the lead of the party in this state, different than mine, and sometimes I think the party pulls him more and more to more and more extreme kinds of positions. He'll do something like open up unemployment compensation to people now who can't find childcare and therefore can't work, and I applaud him for that. But at the same time, the work he was doing with respect to immigrants and folks in our community was difficult for me to understand. Disappointed with how he treated what we were doing with the homelessness populations by all too often pushing messages that weren't true. But I got permission from Diane to do this mayor's thing. I'm not a career politician, and sometimes the politics part of this is the hardest part because it gets in the way sometimes of what I think is good policy. We are Austin, Texas. We're going to continue to try to be who we are and do what we do. every bit as much as we can. And I try really hard not to make things personal in pursuit of us being who we are.
Do you think he reads the comments?
I think he would.
Okay, good to know, because I've made some. I've left several. Hope he gets some. I wrote an acrostic for him, but I don't think I'm going to read it. It's got some language things.
Oh, but I do think, I mean, just to sort of explain context for people who don't live in Austin or Texas, is basically Austin is seen as the blueberry in the tomato soup, which is kind of the rest of Texas. And it's so weird because it's the capital city, Austin is, but, you know, yeah, that's also where the governor is. So I feel like it seems like sometimes when he, you know, says something or does something, or tweets something or whatever,
Spouts off.
It's like almost directly addressing you without maybe saying you. And sometimes he says you.
You know, and I think part of that is that it's been so long since there's been a statewide Democrat, you know, elected, that there's no political foil for many of the statewide Republicans. So Austin becomes that foil. So I think you're right. I think we see that. It's getting a little bit harder now because other cities are really stepping up, Houston and Dallas and San Antonio. So it's more being directed towards cities as opposed to Austin in particular. But, you know, again, this is a special, magical city, and we'll continue to be who we are. There are other capital cities and other cities, I think, that have similar kind of thing. You know, Madison, Wisconsin, I think, is in a similar kind of position. You know, Nashville. So it's not unusual.
And my last question, because I have one more question about the governor, because I think it's so weird to like sort of, like have this like public battle in a way. But because obviously he tweets or, you know, and he's sort of addressing you sometimes, but like, do you guys ever like communicate behind the scenes?
I was going to ask too, Joe. I got to know.
Oh, okay, good.
Same thing.
Well, you know, we have been with each other at different kinds of events. And our interactions are always, you know, friendly and cordial. But you know, I wish that as mayor of the city that I was, you know, talking to the governor of the state more on policy issues than I have the opportunity to be able to do. I have been on some phone calls with you know, many other mayors and the governor at the same time. And I have the opportunity to speak to people on his staff and that are working with him. You know, the people I have spoken directly to the people that are helping to lead his virus response effort, but not just with him about it.
So you guys are true frenemies. So sounds like we've summed it up. Good. You guys have heard it here.
You need to get us both on heavy friending.
I would love that.
He's a big
because
fan.
I want to read in my acrostic. That's the main reason.
Yeah, he's a subscriber. So, I mean, if you have anything you want to say specifically to him, he will get that message.
Dead air.
Dead air. All right, let's take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit about friendship with you, Mayor Steve.
Cool.
Hey there, it's Laura. We'll be right back with the mayor, but I just wanted to take a second to tell you about Patreon. Patreon's a platform that makes it easy to support your favorite creators. You can donate any monthly amount to unlock fun bonus content that no one else gets to see. Well, you know, except for the other people who donate, like my mom. It's a great way to give back to the programs you enjoy, and it helps us to keep recording episodes of this show. And without the show, I don't know if Joe and I will ever even talk again. So visit patreon.com/heavyfriending and become a patron of Heavy Friending today. Steve, I hope you're listening. Our friendship depends on you. Hi, frienders. Welcome back. We're still here with my new best friend, Steve. Joe, you're my second best friend now.
Accepted, yeah.
And yeah, great. This is Heavy Friending. This is Austin's #1 friendship-based podcast. The mayor has confirmed that for all of you today. And we talk about friendship on this podcast. I don't know if you know this, Mayor, but Joe and I were strangers when we started this podcast. We knew nothing about each other, and we've become best friends through the podcast. So what do you look for in a best friend, Steve? And maybe would her name be Laura, and would she be the host of this program?
my new bestest friend. What do I look for in friends? I mean, honesty, kind of compassion, some measure of empathy. I think those kinds of things.
Very honorable things. I'm looking for just like a good time kind of person usually. You know?
Those things, that's important too.
Who would you say is your best friend?
My best friend?
Yeah.
Probably Diane. Also happens to be my wife.
Is she there with you?
You know,
now?
I had. Sorry,
is she there with you now? Is she watching you?
No, she walked past the door though, so it's important.
Okay. I just figured.
You know, I have some friends that go way back. I have friends, that go back to high school and to college that I've, stayed in touch with. I have friends that, became friends of mine when I first got to Austin in the late 70s. I miss my friends. There's not a lot of time in this job to do that, but everybody's being really patient with me and waiting for this to be over.
Do you have a favorite mayor friend?
I gotta, there, some of the mayors in this country are really wonderful people. Mayor Pete is a good friend.
Okay.
Ron Nuremberg in San Antonio, Eric Garcetti in L.A., Jenny in Seattle. There are some Nan in Dayton, Christopher in West Sacramento. There's some really, really neat people that are now being mayors. I think that kind of job around the country kind of selects for people that just want to really get things done. The level of government at the national level of government, I think it would be really frustrating to be there. It's so hard to really accomplish anything. Mm-hmm. Frustrating, I think, also being in state government. But at the local government, that's where people actually expect you to get stuff done and to really impact people's lives. So mayors are people that have selected to be in that place. So, God, there are like bunches of mayors that are friends.
Do you, by the way, because this has happened a couple of times, I feel like you, do you have allergies because you've sneezed and you've coughed?
Are you positive? Are you tested? Have you been tested?
I don't think I'm positive.
Okay.
And I think I do have allergies.
Okay. Do you
Mold
get the cedar or mold? Yeah, what do you get?
Yeah, I think I probably get many of them.
See, what I did, I'm sort of a compassionate friend now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
See, this whole time I've been thinking, oh, man, he's got it. He's got it.
I mean, I hope that's not the case. I hope.
My husband had it, Mayor Steve.
He did?
Yes, he
How's
had
he doing
it.
now?
He's fine. He was, we actually got back, when we got back from New York, like a week later, he lost all of his sense of taste of, all smell and taste. And that was when we went, nope, and we just locked it down. So, they didn't test him, but then he did the antibody test several weeks later, and yeah, he had it. But I never got it.
And that's good. It's just really, really odd how that works sometimes, and how you just can't tell.
Well, I had instituted a no mouth kissing policy in the weeks before because I didn't trust him.
Yeah, what do you think of that, Mayor? Do you think Austin should go on a no kissing policy just for safety?
I think that would be like really, really bad for morale.
Okay.
I mean, we're having trouble just doing the things we're doing now. If we implemented that, I mean, I'd probably get run out of town.
See, I think I would feel, and other people like me, would feel better because I live alone. There's no one here to kiss, even if I wanted to.
Well, he does have that doll.
I think you'd get a lot of supporters of the no kissing policy.
I think it's a no. I don't want to speak for you, but we are really good friends at this point, and I just
really. Would you speak for me on this one?
Yes, it's a no. Okay, Joe.
This is the most passionate I've felt about an issue, and it's right next to my "don't make me wear pants" issue, and that's number 1 and 2 for me. Is no one should be allowed to kiss if I can't.
Do you think this is going to change everything now? I mean, I guess seems like a stupid question because it is, but you know. I kind of feel like in a positive way, it's changed a lot of it's changed my perspective on some things, my priorities on some things that I always get worked up about or worried about don't seem as important now. Austin's already a pretty chill city, but do you think we're going to get even more chill?
You know, I hope that we come out of this even better and stronger and fairer and more just and equitable than we went in. And I think it's going to have changes. One, I don't think that I'll ever do a live meeting with people before 10 o'clock or after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I just won't do that anymore. I'm liking this Zoom stuff otherwise.
Hell yeah.
But beyond that, you know, it really has pointed out some of the real kind of inequities in our city, the people and communities that this virus preys upon. We can fix those kinds of things. You know, we need a better way for people to be able to move around the city. We need better health care. We need you know, sick leave for people so that, you know, they don't have to come in and be sick. They actually have a viable choice. Otherwise, I hope that we look at some of the historical institutions that we've had and rectify some of the injustices that we've been carrying with us.
You are so eloquent, Steve, and you're such a good friend to me. And I really value our friendship and appreciate you coming on the show to speak with us.
I'm honored to be asked to be on this.
Would you
podcast.
say that you and I are better friends now than you and Joe, or?
Much better friends.
Okay,
much
great.
better friends.
He's
hardly even spoken this entire podcast.
Yeah,
well,
it's like
I'm
he's
still
there.
here, actually. I'm still here, and I can hear what's happening.
Right, we know. Mayor, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Invite me back. Thank you.
Everyone out there in Austin, stay safe and stay inside, right?
That's right. To the degree you can, but stay safe is important.
I mean, It's a good time to binge a podcast. Maybe this is the first episode you listen to of a particular podcast because you're like, oh, the mayor went on that podcast? Maybe it's not bad. And then you go and you listen to it and you subscribe. That would be great, right, Mayor? You said that, right, Mayor?
Absolutely, I say that, and we'll promote this.
Well, now we're talking.
Thank you so much for coming on.
We'll
Thank you all
promote
so
you.
much for listening to Heavy Friending, Austin's. Everyone say it with me. Number one friendship-based podcast. All right, should we get
Number
it
one
going?
friendship-based podcast. Do I add, but you don't need to check that?
You sure can. Yeah.
You can do whatever
That's
you want.
perfect.